Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Game 2 of LGD China versus DK. No, this is not the International 3, but it sure feels like it. This one, in Game 2 now, LGD China leading the set 1-0. I'm LD, joined here by James Too Good Harding. How you doing, James?
Yeah, really good. Looking forward to Game 2. I know you've already got some predictions, and they're actually already in the band of picks.
I was right for once.
And yeah, he was banging on about anti-mage, going, it's gonna happen. It's gonna be in this game. And I guess we just spoiled a little bit, unless you got a Dota TV. You're in the Dota TV client. So we'll send it over to Lumi and Merlini, and we go straight in game, and you can see how this is already panning out.
Can be. Tournament ticket $7.99, and you know I missed a little bit of first blood here and there, but if you got Dota TV, that's on you, you know. Of course, I am Luminous, and I'm joined by Merlini, as this is Game 2 of DK versus LGD Gaming. LGD Gaming is up 1 game after some spectacular mid-game play, and of course, the winner of this set is going to be guaranteed 3rd place of Alienware Cup, sponsored by Alienware as well as MasterCard, and that's $7,000 in US cash prize.
Pretty chunk of change.
Yeah.
What would you buy if you had $7,000, Lumi?
I'll get back to you on that.
I mean, I know one thing for sure. You would get that value.
I would get that. I actually would go take a nice trip.
To where?
To Asia. A little bit of Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong.
Get AM farming lessons?
Get AM farming lesson from the rich history of China.
Let's get back to the game.
Yes.
The draft has been a little bit different. Bat Rider, first and foremost, has been banned out by LGD because LGD has 2nd pick. Giving up Bat is just terrible idea. And it's almost as bad as giving up Wisp to Western teams. Not as bad, but it's still pretty bad.
Unless you get like 2 OP heroes back, right? Yeah.
And LGD banned out Alchemist, but left Anti-Mage in the pool. So they didn't have 3 bans. And if they did, I'm pretty sure they would have banned it out just because Burning is a monster on this. And they actually banned out the Shadow Demon as well. He's decent versus Anti-Mage, but I think that Naga Siren is actually a really good pick by LGD here because the net kind of owns Blink Heroes. But again, you need the damage to kill him during a Blink, or you need sufficient lockdown afterwards. Looks like they're going with a little bit of both. Gyrocopter has tons of magic and physical damage, and they have the Leshrac Split Earth to follow it up. And on the side of DK, we have Anti-Mage and Darkseer.
I'd like to talk about the net a little bit more. I feel like Naga, her spell set is one of the more underrated spell set in all of Dota because against an anti-mage who normally gets BKB, you can net through that. You cannot Manta out of a net. You can't Manta dodge a net, I don't think. So
I think you can Manta dodge it. You're invulnerable. Maybe. We need K-pop doses here.
Yeah, we need K-pop doses to pop back. And also, I feel like one of the more annoying thing about anti-mage in team fights is like you almost kill him, he blinks back out, he has that heart regen, he comes back in, and team fight's over. Naga Siren says no to that, right? Like, she's just so good at locking her down.
The problem is that are they going to be actually able to land it on the anti-mage, though? Just because if team fights go the way that DK wants, ooh, Venomancer, I'll talk about that later, but we have a Blink Manta by anti-mage, and then he just causes so much havoc. By the time you net him, the team fight's mostly going to be, not over, I say, but a lot of damage from anti-mage has already been done, and then they'll have, like, the vacuum wall follow with the mech, and then all this other stuff that they have. And they really need a way to get him into the net. Usually you want, like, a Bat Rider to pull him in, or an RP, so you can follow it up. You need some sort of instant cast or near instant initiation on the anti-mage, or else he's just going to blink away from whatever danger is thrown his way. And Leshrac has a very long cast time. Homing Missile is never going to land on him, at least not as initiate. So I guess right now we pretty much just have the bear route, but again, that's not guaranteed, and he can Manta out of it and then blink out. So I'm a little bit worried about the execution. I know that Naga Siren is good versus anti-mage just for that net, but are they going to be actually able to hit the net on him? If you smoke gank, you have to you just have to have really fast reflexes on the anti-mage in order to blink out, or just phenomenal positioning from the smoke ganker. So I think that in theory it works out, but in practice I'm not sure if they're going to be able to shut this down.
You got to keep in mind that Naga Siren does have one of the longer cast points on all of her spells, so her net, is a lot slower. But the thing to point out here is LG seems like they don't really care about killing the anti-mage too much early game. They want to kill more towers.
Yes.
Leshrac, Lone Druid, Gyrocopter to a certain extent.
Keeper of the Light.
But of course, we definitely have thoughts from James as well as LD. James has gone off somewhere. But LD, what you got for us?
Well, for DK, they have 0 stuns, and they're a bit lacking in counter push. Venomancer wards sound nice in theory, but against a Lone Druid Bear, against Naga's illusions, how much do they really do? I feel they really need more AoE because they have to split push this game. They have to stall until Burning gets really fat. So something like a Twin-Headed Dragon here, perhaps. I think
Lina?
big AoE is something they'll be looking for.
Yeah, they do pick up Lina. Thank you for that point here. But you were very ready to talk about Venomancer. Is a hero that we don't see too often. What do you think it's actually here for?
I think it's there for the triple lane. I think they want to continue this sort of aggression from last game, and again, they don't have really many BKB heroes besides the Gyrocopter, and it will do a lot of damage. You kind of just like sacrifice yourself in a team fight. Like last game we had Visage and Rubik just kind of die without doing anything. Venomancer, at least if he dies, he can get out of his instant ultimate. So that's a little bit nice. I don't actually know why they picked it up 3rd pick instead of 5th. Maybe they have a
crazy
pick.
Any possibility of a Warlock solo mid?
That would be sick.
I mean, DK's the team that has 1 or 2 on the creative scale, but if you get a Fatal Bond Vacuum Venomancer, that is wombo combo to the fullest, and Song Siren that has nothing on that.
I think that Venomancer's Plague Wards are actually good offensively and pushes because LGD has actually good push, but not that good anti-push. And the Venomancer works as good anti-push and push, which is kind of cool. But is it actually going to be able to do anything? Most people go for really safe anti-push with like Shockwave, Power Shot, Ice Path, Dual Breath, and Keep the Light Illuminate. Those
Long
are
range,
really
yeah.
long range. Those are really the safe ones. But again, Venomancer Plague Wards, creativity, I got to up them up a notch for this.
I think it's a little bit also for the early game defensive power, because when you play anti-mage, you know you're pretty much says, all right, we're not going to try to kill you. We're trying to basically tank as much as we can early and hope we don't give up too many kills. Venomancer, if you drop that Gale, nobody's actually dying on your team, generally. Like, you should be able to get away. Nyx is going to be the follow-up pick. I imagine this is going to be your solo mid. We saw Naga as a support last game, but she could definitely roam to the mid and play this farmer there as well.
So this is like the sort of instant stun that they need, a Vendetta into Impale or just a straight up Impale.
Right.
I think with that element of surprise on the anti-mage, they can follow up with the Split Earth, with the Call It Out, with the Ensnare to kill the anti-mage. So I like this pick from LGD. I'm glad they have some sort of initiate besides Naga Siren Net / Song of the Siren, or just banking on a really lucky route by Lone Druid. So last pick will be Windrunner. Cool.
Okay, so this is, I imagine...
That's anti-push. Right?
It is a little bit of it.
A little bit.
I mean, do you go offensive trialing here if you're DK? No. Super, generally their solo mid player is going to be selecting the Windrunner. So defensive trialing, featuring the Venomancer, Lina, and Anti-Mage. And then you're going to have Darkster starting in the jungle most likely, and then rotating up top to defend. And then, of course, Super playing in the mid lane should beat out Xiao 8, who's going to be playing solo mid in this case here, on the Naga Siren.
Well, one thing that we actually didn't talk about too much is the Darkseer. We talked about a lot of the anti-mage and how he works against their lineup and whatnot, but Darkseer actually gets shut down pretty hard by Net 2, that disable being longer than most disables simply because it doesn't do any damage. And if Darkseer is in the offlane versus Naga Siren, we may have a lot of trouble for him, but I think that Xiao 8 will probably take up that mid role. Oh, no, they actually swapped.
Yeah.
Wow. So...
this is the thing that you talked about somewhat, as we also see a swap between Sylar and Yao. Yao was originally on the Lone Druid, and I was raising my eyebrow a little bit, but everything is all right in the world of Sylar.
That leaner hair.
What leaner head? The fire hair?
Yeah.
That $35.
I thought it was 35 euros.
Is
Or
it
40 euros. Regardless,
That's
that thing,
expensive.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
It's an iconic Lina headpiece, though, the Arcana. So I'll go ahead and introduce a side of DK because I put my rares on them. Come on, Burning, carry us to victory! And more rares. So we see Super on the Windrunner. I actually don't know where he's going because he has a very atypical build. He dropped his Ring of Protection on the ground. I'm not exactly sure why, but we will find out soon. We have ROTK on the solo Darkseer or jungle Darkseer. We have yet to see. We have QQQ on the Lina, MMY on Venomancer, and Burning on the Anti-Mage.
Yeah, you don't go solo mid with a Ring of Protection on Windrunner, so...
I guess it might be ROTK, but then...
It has to be. Solo mid AM? Are we seeing that?
It's actually
It's not
pretty
bad
good
against
versus
Naga Siren.
Xiao 8.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's not Naga Siren. Remember, they swapped.
Oh, that's right. All right, let's go back to LGD real fast. Xiao 8 is going to be playing solo mid, Nyx Assassin, and it is going to be a solo mid AM. I am quite excited.
Creativity. This is why they have a 2 and not a 1.
Not a 1 indeed. Yeah, I was going to be playing on the Gyrocopter, DDC on the Leshrac, DD going to be on the Naga Siren, and up top is going to be Sylar on the Lone Druid. They read the trialing perfectly. This is one hard cookie. Peanut to crack, whatever that phrase is. One hard nut to crack. As
Wait, how did Yao take damage? He's at 485 out of 549 HP. Was it the
super attack from high ground and low ground?
Okay.
And Gale is going to go right on DD. Any shackle shot, LSA, power shot, everything on DD. Can they go for the deny here? DD very low and no deny attempt as MMY draws a first
Where
blood.
was DDC for that?
DDC was warding and checking out the scenic route.
Wow, I mean, we almost always see DDC and DD just stick together the whole entire time, and I feel that a split earth there, especially near this choke, would not secure the first blood for DK. So, again, they gave a first blood last game, so it's not that big of a deal, but I felt like that should have happened. Again, a little bit of awkward positioning by the supports.
We do have a rotation or a change of lanes here. Sylar now goes on mid lane, so Burning and Sylar, generally your one row in their safe lane. They are playing solo mid against each other. That's what I wanted to see for my compendium at TI3. 1v1 solo mid. Give us our carries. Give us our support players.
Do you think that DK should swap lanes now to give Burning that farm?
They are doing just that, and very smart doing so. RTK now rolling back mid, and Xiao 8.
Look at what Tusky said.
Well, we'll talk. We'll ask him a little bit more about that later. I just feel like Super and the rest of DK has beautiful, smart laning decision. Having a fairly defensive tri-lane. This tri-lane is not going to die. In fact, they're getting some kills up on the top lane. Burning's going to be doing absolutely fine in a 1v1 against Nyx Assassin. And I think the Darkseer is definitely a lot weaker on the mid lane, but you could actually go back and farm your safe camp.
It's much better for Burning, though.
Yeah,
right?
I feel that DK is just one step ahead over LG right now in terms of lane.
Yeah, that was just I totally did not expect that coming, but great choice by them. ROTK, is he going to be stacking these? Nope, it looks like he's not going to be stacking the small camp. It was a little bit better before they changed the pull time. I think they nerfed the leash range a little bit because you could cut down all these trees with Batrider, with Wisp, with Beastmaster, whomever, and then pull it over here. So they actually cut down the leash range for that, and in turn it kind of hurts Darkseer solo mid because it's much more difficult for him to stack. But again, the Radiant versus Dire imbalance is a little bit lessened there because on the side of Dire, you can't really stack any camps with ease from the mid lane.
It is the musical chairs of lane swap as now Sylar goes back up top to haunt Burning. Let's see if Burning's... Yep, straight up TP's back to the mid lane.
Wow.
Now you see me. Now you don't even get to Sal from his ROTK ally as ROTK did bottle in
this is
room
ridiculous.
and surging back up top. And look at the TP back on the mid lane. I love this game, as Sylar says. Yep, I'm right with you. And let's see if ROTK is going to go back.
This is ridiculous.
We expected 80-minute farm, but I like how this game is going to start.
So who's actually pulling ahead in the farm wars
I have no
because
clue.
of this?
17 CS here and 16 CS on Sylar, and now 10 on Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage definitely falling a little bit behind, but
Xiao 8 is getting owned in this musical
Xiao
chairs.
is really falling behind as well. But Anti-Mage says, man, I have my own regen shop as he has 2 salve, a tango. Getting a ton of denies here is Sylar, though.
So looking at the triple lane, they had first blood in the way of DK, and checking out the CS, it looks like Windrunner is the farmer in this lane with 8 CS. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter in the safe lane has, or in the offensive triple lane has 6. So it still looks to be fairly even after that. I don't think either team is making a move. They're taking a lot of damage from the flak though, and that is only a level 2 Gyrocopter. But MMY circling around the outside.
And DK, well, Burning, he's going up back top. Doesn't have Blink mana, unfortunately, so he has to walk it. Maybe he's going to get a little bit of Surge Assistant from RTK. No, RTK.
Get that bottle charge. Hook him up.
Oh my goodness, these guys. And look at, guess what? Sylar says, I don't see the anti-mage in lane. Guess what? I'm going to go straight up top, but he's going to run into RTK a little bit of Iron Shell harass. I mean, who's actually ahead in all these lane swaps? I know Sylar's farming a little bit better.
Darkseer is owning with 26, but I don't know if he actually got an XP from
Back in the bot lane, though, a ton of engagement as MMY in big trouble. A pause come out.
Yeah, that means he dropped.
Yeah.
Well, that is not good news for DK. Luckily, it won't be first blood for them, but MMY is almost certainly dead. There's a rocket barrage in the process. DDC is about to right-click him. DD is as well, so looks like second blood will go to LGD China.
Yeah, MMY is dead for sure, and DK, all of their spells on cooldown, and of course LGD is at basically full HP. They're going to focus on Yao. I think Yao's going to be fine as well, so I think they could get away scot-free. So I expected the DK trailing to win a little bit more handily, but it seems like Venomancer perhaps got a little bit out of position. I do want to talk about Venomancer a little bit more, because the recent buff on Poison Sting, and you can see that he's actually got a single point into it. I feel like Poison Sting, if you have the option to get that buff onto a ton of supports during a hectic team fight, in combination of your ultimate, you do a ton of damage. But granted that he has very low attack range, he has, you know, very
no
short
HP,
movement speed.
no
He's
items.
not going to be in the front lines. So I don't expect that to happen, but I just want to point out this hero is deceptively powerful in terms of team fight. But looks like Super has reconnected back, and we'll watch how this team fight's going to go.
He dropped during the middle of channeling power shot, or what is his teammate using? I'm not very sure about that, but he is channeling a power shot. It looks like it is going to be on Yao, and I'm curious to see whether they are going to be able to get a rebuttal kill.
Did you have Windrunner being available, so you could actually pop that and chase after her? No, Super's got to run. Diabolic Edict.
She's out of regen too, so Super is going to be dangerously low in between QQQ and Super. They only have one Tango to share. Venomancer actually has a lot of money. He bought boots already.
But I just want to ask you a question before the team fight or any more action breaks out. In all of these lane switch, you got to favor LGD a little bit more, right? Because they're getting the better end of the lane switch. They just got an extra kill on the bot lane. They're getting a little bit more CS as well. They're actually initiating right on QQQ, Net and Slurf, and now they're coming right back in. QQQ's dead for sure, but a two-man Gale, and they want to focus on Yao. MMY in bigger trouble. They are going to get one kill. Super in big trouble as well. They all do back off, but they're really out of
ROTK
region.
from behind.
Uh-oh, that's one kill, or at least trying to get the first kill. The net's gonna come through, and gotta be some beautiful power shots.
He has Trinkle Boots. He has Trinkle Boots, though.
Right click.
Oh.
Man. He just doesn't want to come in because he sees Yao backing him out. And of course, the musical chairs. Does Burning have a bottle? Burning has a mother effing bottle as he is running through the river so much. You might as well, right? This has got to be the first time in history in a professional game that anti-mage has a bottle. We've seen it. Mushi's done it before. Well, Mushi, we've seen it all. And of course, now we have bottle crawling for the AM. What are we doing?
And I think that ROTK actually could have gotten a kill. He kind of blocked himself with the illusion here, or you can just ion shell the illusion so that if he nets you, you just chase with illusion. If he nets your illusion, then you just chase him with your real hero. He was very, very close to dying, and I think a little bit more micro would have eked out a kill for them. So they wasted a lot of time there. I think the rotation for the early part was not really benefiting either team. Sure, Syllabear's getting a little bit more farm, but Nyx Assassin is not really getting any levels. Usually you're level 6 at this point, and he's only level 5. So I think that the musical chairs didn't really play out too well to either team. It's just delaying everybody's farm and levels. But with that rotation, I think that LGD is slightly ahead, even though DK has one more kill.
I feel like if everybody's somewhat delayed, if you're Sylar, you're happier, right? Because you could at worst go into jungle and duck in there and get a couple more CS. You could maybe push down on tower if the enemy gives you the room to do so. You can't do any of that as Burning. Burning actually in big trouble. Blink out, my friend. Whew, that looked close.
Yep, he's almost level 6. If Xiao 8, oh, is he gonna blink on him? I would pop that cell. Pop that cell, man.
He is. Does he have Mana Void? No, he doesn't. He's actually very
He can
close.
bottle up and do it though.
No, he has no level 6. He's only level 5. Everybody's
only like he's level 6 now. Is he gonna? Oh no, Xiao 8 is way back.
And then Sylar says, yeah, I'm going to go back. He's got the face boot now, so he's definitely lane swapping a little bit quicker. And Burning, you got to keep in mind, because he's going for bottle, because he's going to all these lane switch, they're not getting Battle Fury. This is not the 14-minute Battle Fury that we expect out of Burning. And this is their first pick, right? They put so much eggs in this basket, and I don't know about all these lane swapping.
We'll see, though. We shall see. Meanwhile, Xiao 8 TP's top, desperately trying to get level 6 right now. And ROTK almost level 7. So ROTK, even after removing bottom, not getting killed, he is, I think, the highest level besides Sylar. Sylar around 7.5 right now.
One thing I do want to point out that if Sylar, or assuming ROTK as they do a bottle swap, if ROTK gets a quick mech, that is absolutely mind-breaking, game-breaking against this particular team, because they have nothing, they being LGD, to counteract against that. It really will allow the Radiant to kind of push a lot more aggressively. The other thing we haven't talked about too much is if you do the lane swap, Sylar is working towards your tier 1 or any tower on the mid and top, so DK's got to be very careful to not take too much damage on these tower, as we have a rune check here from our TK, and regen rune gonna get taken by Spearbird. Nicely done.
Yeah, nicely done indeed, being able to return out before he got that regen off. So free heal for the bear. That is huge. That's like 1,800 HP for him.
Yep.
And one thing we didn't talk about was also the plague wards. The plague wards is also very, very good for scouting. The night vision was nerfed a little bit, but still we saw him use it over here just to scout out the aggression from LGD, and it's pretty good. But I think they really need sentries to counter this Nyx game. They know that Nyx is level 6 right now. He's out of mana because burning has harassed, and it is very atypical for these Chinese teams to get caught to Nyx ganks this early in the game because you always have to expect it, right? Nyx, level 6, he's missing. He's probably ganking somewhere. So I think that they are very prepared with the sentries as of right now, and they need to protect Burning as well.
Well, this is definitely a atypical game, right? Shackle Shot's going to fly and miss. If they do get caught as Shai walks back to base, you could definitely TP the bot lane. If you get a successful TP gank on bot and gets a double, triple kill.
Oh, they're going to net MMY?
But the MMY is already on the run. There's a couple wards down, and I think Xiao is going to be the X factor.
Siler's owning these towers, though. Is he going to be able to kill it, though?
He's going to resummon. But yeah, all the lane swaps, I think Siler is definitely coming out ahead with the most CS on the map, with a ton of tower damage on both tier 1 mid and bot. I think all these
is this
lane
tower going to get denied?
Wow, nice deny on RTK, and that's a key mistake on Siler. He has way more damage than RTK. He's going to surge out, no retango here. Really, really smart lone drip players could have resummoned the bear and went for another Nitango. We definitely see AUI 2000 do that a ton, but he just resummoned the bear, so that's definitely not an option.
I hear another shackle. It will miss yet again. Do we need a shackle count from K-pop Tosis?
No, you throw out those shackles like you throw out candy.
You throw it like it.
I do want to point out that Nebula and I were at Vegas.
Burning got a rune.
And he got a jar of $30 candy, and he was giving it out to little kids. So I just want to point that out there. Tier 1 in the mid lane, not going to get denied as Lone Druid. Uh-oh, Burning in big trouble here. They can use Vendetta for the extra damage. They do. Oh, but Invis rune on Burning. What's up? Anti-mage getting
bottle
the
paying
bottle.
off. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's like almost saved him 600 gold right there.
Yeah,
not dying
I
and being
guess.
able to farm right now.
And
I mean,
he's
that's
been
huge.
able to, he actually gets another salve. Man, Burning
He's so poor though. Oh my
is so
goodness.
poor. He is
What is he gonna do for items?
He's got a bottle, man. He's actually doesn't even have Mana Void because
Oh wow.
why you get Mana Void, right?
When he can blink?
You can max blink and get stats.
Screw the burning build. Let's do the 1-4-1
This
build.
is the new Burning build, guys. Go solo mid, bottle first, and then lane swap. I really think he should pick up a Quelling Blade after his power trip, and just.
Oh, he has
Power
strats now. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has
Okay.
power trips.
He's doing okay. He can bottle Crow when you don't need the health regen from Battlefield. We see a TP in from Xiao Wei. He does not have Vendetta. Do they have sentries? No, they do not.
I think all they need out of him is actually Impel to initiate. They're going to net right on Super. I'm not sure if that's a great target. Nice Gale to slow things down. QQQ is going to drop off an LSA. Shackle Shot. A lot of these defensive slow being dropped, and that's a TP not doing a single damn thing from the Dire team.
Great Venomous Gale from MMY there to prevent that death on Super. I think if he got that Impale, he was almost certainly dead.
Why is RTK on the bot lane here? Does he have mech finish? That's a question. He doesn't. And now we do have the rotation coming out from Xiaowei. They see
there's a
him.
sentry ward.
Xiaowei knows about that as well. Everybody run for the trees! They do. And RTK being here is actually very important because he could actually kind of...
oh, is Burning going to TP in? I think they...
Nice two-man Impale. That's
that Shackle didn't hit? Where were the hackle shots?
Nothing, just at QQQ running away as well. Where's the Shackle coming out? Mirror image being used, vacuum on top, and look at the LSA gonna hit clip on everybody. And here comes a bottle anti-mage. Does he have Mana Void? That's the question. He doesn't. He gets impaled. Gonna get nuked down by the call down. He blinks back out. They want to focus on Sylar, but Sylar's okay. He's survival enough. LSA is gonna be dropped, and no damage, not enough damage. Power shot clips everybody low. Man, Burning says, where the hell is my Mana Void? That's so many people running away with low health, and he can't do a single damn thing. And that's a TP scroll game. He has a haste rune as well now, but is he gonna go man mode? He can't. He has to go back on.
He really does need that Mana Void though. My
does.
goodness. I think that would have just been a free kill on whomever he wanted. But ROTK really manning up right there, but that will delay his mech for at least a couple of minutes.
Did he die there, or he was
ROTK,
okay?
yeah, he got destroyed after TPing. He had a really nice vacuum though into 3 heroes. They needed some sort of initiate, and
They had it. They started with a vacuum. I'm not sure if they follow with the LSA or Gale. I didn't think so.
you could follow it with a Mana Void. Imagine that.
Imagine that one. That didn't happen either, so DK losing this early game phase. You gotta keep in mind that 2 towers went down because of Sylar constantly clipping those towers. It looks like
Might be a
Xiaowei, he finds
third.
Super. That should be a free kill. Any type of follow-up. DDC's right there. They do actually pick him off. ROTK right there as well. Vacuum, but the call-down's bigger nuke as ROTK in huge trouble. He goes down a second time. I do believe QQQ is going to go down as well to an impale, but no, he clips them. Great support play from QQQ. Silent Siren to basically seal the deal here, and that's yet another kill that DK is picking up. Or
Yeah.
LGD playing this early game phase a lot better, up to another 1,500 gold lead. They're going to get a tower kill on top of that. And what is Burning doing? Well, he's got a bottle. He's up to 900 gold.
I think that they're not playing this early game correctly. They need to farm more items because Burning is not contributing anything to the fight. When he TPs in, he doesn't have Mana Void. He just got stunned, blinked out, and he can't do anything else. So they really either need Burning to farm more items and the rest of their team, because Anti-Mage is not the best hero early game. I mean, he has a bottle right now and treads, but he can't really do much, and they need to play the farm more for a little bit. They tried to defend that tower, but came out way behind, even though there was a nice, some sort of spells, nice play by QQQ there to pick up the kill on Xiao 8. But again, they're trading very poorly in these fights. They're close to several key items. They're close to the Force Staff on the Windrunner and the mech on the Darkseer. I think that once you have these, you can 45 under your T1 tower or a T2 at this point, or maybe Roshan. But until then, they need to pick better fights.
Yeah, a very reminiscent theme of Game 1 was DK trying to defend towers when they didn't have enough to do so. When instead they could be getting a little bit better trades, whether by pushing other towers or farming better. Burning wasn't there. Burning was definitely farming. He's up to 1,200 gold. Now, do we go back for the latest Battle Fairy in Burning's career, or do we go for a different item? Maybe a Vanguard, maybe a Vlad's, and say, hey man, I don't have that
I think
kind of
Battle
start.
Fury's fine. I think he can do a lot of damage if they just Ion Shell him and he actually has Mana Void, which he has finally skilled now. I think that if... Ooh, looks like MMY is going to get picked off, but
Yeah.
it's just a Vino. Who cares?
Well, I'm sure MMY cares, but...
I think they actually came out ahead on that smoke gank just because they can find farm on all their other heroes while they're 5-maning. But if Super gets picked off, definitely not worth it. Looks like they will trade a T2. But again, they couldn't really defend it anyways. So they're just giving up free towers. And bottom lane, Sylar TP's in. Let's check his items right now. He has Maelstrom completed on the bear.
Yeah, and this is the early power of Sylar being able to clip towers, get tons of gold. By comparison, Burning has an Invis rune in his bottle.
Wow, look at this XP graph. It was just all after that one fight on bottom. They were doing a fairly decent job of holding until then, but again, they don't have the best anti-push. All they have is power shot right now and a slightly under-leveled Vino and his wards. So, again, you really need a lot of anti-push just so that if they tower dive you, you can really punish them for it in that sort of positioning.
Yeah, I'm impressed with LGD's wards as well. They're getting ready to set up shop. Look at these deep wards right in front of tier 2 towers. And when you have heroes like Nyx Assassin, when your heroes have long initiators like Naga, Gyrocopter, you just need to set up wards. You prevent and limit the places that DK can farm in, and you just choke them. And so far, they're doing a decent job.
Xiao 8 on bottom lane. MMY drops a sentry. Too late.
Look, when you can't drop sentry in your own base or behind your tier 2 like this, you're in big trouble.
Oh,
You get up
Xiao 8
the-
going to go down, though?
Power shot. Ooh, no. Nice. Spike Carapace definitely saved his life there. And guess what? Tier 2 is also going down. The gold chart is just ugly right now. And, well, this is setting up to be perhaps one of the most crazy storyline. If Burning could carry them back from this kind of deficit, then really we'll have to say in BGOT we trust. But we are very, very far
He's
from
going
that.
for the Battle Fury. He has the Claymore, unless we see some Shadow Blade anti-mage. That tread swapping.
Yeah, I don't know. Burning is just farming away. We do have mech being finished. We have Force Staff being up as well. We do have low in the break, and LD, he's not yawning. He's got something to say. What you got for us, LD?
Musical Lanes was the story of that early game. I thought that was super entertaining, but I really liked the way that LGD kept on putting pressure on Burning. The constant rotations of Sylar's Lone Druid really shut him down. In this mid game, it's a super late Battle Fury, but there's no other choice. He's got to go for it. They just cannot fight 5v5. They have to win this by split pushing and stalling. I think LGD, just great use of the Nyx Assassin. Xiao 8's been making a lot of plays. If he keeps that up, it's going to be trouble for DK. Burning just has to not... He'll want to come to the fights. He can't. He's got to split push.
Thank you for that, LD. As we do see LGD rotating to the left, trying to pick off Burning. They did try to set up a gank on Sylar. That was not successful, and a couple of teleport scroll being wasted as the supports, as well as Burning, going back home.
All he needs is his perseverance now, so it won't be the world's latest Battle Fury. It'll still be quite delayed though, but LGD has slowed down a little bit, especially now that there aren't any
You can sell that bottom
T1 towers left to push out. They have one T2 left, but I think they're just going to take out Roshan. There's almost no way that DK can contest this, especially with Song of the Siren up, but they will find some more time for burning the farm.
Yeah, nice item choice here from our Leshrac. Medallion Courage, definitely not something you see too often. And with that, like you said, they are going to burn down the Rosh. And DK Burning says, man, that's more time for me to farm, no problem. I'll trade Rosh for a stack of creeps any day. And
they don't have a choice right now.
Yeah,
a little bit unfortunate for them. XP graph is not completely out of control. It's not even that far different. It's only about 750 in favor of LGD. Gold is another story though. 7,000 gold in favor of LGD, soon to be 8,000 after this Roshan drops.
I do want to point out that Burning has over 100 CS in less than 20 minutes. Under this kind of circumstances of multiple lane trades and losing all of your outer towers, or at least 5 out of 6 of them, getting ganked, being forced to TP, and not avoiding people, he's actually farming quite well considering all the circumstances. He could sell this bottle, get himself 300 more gold, and be well on his way on his sort of late Battle Fury. But that's when the game kind of goes out of control. That's when the rest of the team defend towers, and that's when he carries his team back, hopefully, with amazing split push.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know whether DK can defend a T3 push right now. All LGD needs, or LGD China needs to do is just walk in with Song of the Siren and just man mode them down. They have the mass stuns right there. All they need is BKB on Gyrocopter, which they already have up. They have the Aegis right now. I think just maybe one more item before the Aegis expires and they can make a go for it. And checking Lone Druid's items, how close is he to that AC?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Song of Siren for a tier 3 is actually fairly a nice idea. They got to be just very careful of being able to detect whether there's buyback available on DK, because DK Song of Siren's at a 3-minute cooldown right now, being it's only a level 8 Naga Siren, and they can't use that ability too much. And I think it's always a dangerous factor of clumping up the hill against the Darkster when he has level 2 wall now. I really like the choice of him deciding to actually take Wall of Replica at level 10, 11. A lot of Darkster don't get it till 12, and I think that's
DK's in a very compromising position right now. They're again in that kind of weird position where they're like in position to defend the tower. We see a blink stun.
That's actually the most dangerous item, I feel like, for LGD. Shackle Shot's gonna hit. But I don't think they should be defending this. They're definitely buying themselves a ton of time. This is what Burning wasn't doing last game. When his team was defending, he was there with the defense as Luna. This game, he's split pushing. He's doing a lot more with his time, and he is very close to the battlefield. He's going to have it on this top creep wave. He's going to be picking up on that Secret Shop and let the Burning farm game begin.
Yeah, so the positioning of DK was really, really sketchy. There were like one hero here, one hero here, one hero here, one hero here, and here's the tower. So if you got a blink stun along this line from the Nyx Assassin, or if you got a Song or a Siren Sleep, that would just that would have definitely been a Rax right there. So again, they're really always in this half-committed position defending. They gave up the tower without a fight, but they're still in a position where they like kind of want to go in. I would really like to see them be a little bit more coordinated about their defense and really commit one way or another. It's like, hey guys, we're not going to defend. Let's set up our T3. There's a Shackle, flies out, and
nice force staff here. LSA is going to miss as well, but here comes a Song of Siren and Anti-Mage. Is he making back home for this push? I don't think they are, but there's really no more stun, and there's nothing left here for at least a Nyx Assassin. And they back out. ROTK does have still everything available. And Burning, of course, when I ask him, is he coming back? Of course not. He's flip pushing top.
That's actually a huge loss for LGD right now, because if they want to push, they're going to have to do it without Song of Siren. If they
3 minutes.
Yeah, if they want to push with Song of Siren, they're not going to have the Aegis. And you really want to have everything that you can to make a T3 push this early. LGD, China, one of the safer teams. I don't think they're going to wait for 35,000 gold, but they don't have enough of an advantage right now to push without all those tools, Song of the Siren and Aegis of the Immortal.
And of course, always a good sign of a great carry player. When you can't safely farm your own jungle, doesn't mean you don't farm, you farm in their jungle, especially when you have one of the most survivable carry. It's going to be TPing around as they see the creep wave being pushed in, and he's basically farming every single creep that his team can allow him to farm, and well, he's going to have to up to 1,000 gold soon, and that's going to be that Blade of Alacrity.
So who do you think this favors super late game?
We'll talk about that later. Shackle shot us. They actually get the first hit in Tango. Gotta force out yourself out. No, it's on cooldown. And super melts. Well, if they lose the Rex now, I'll say it favors LGD.
They need they do have a gem, I believe. I'm checking. Oh, actually, they don't have a gem. They had a sentry and an observer ward up here, and now that they don't have any vision up on the map except for this
RTK has a
one
gem.
plague ward. Oh, RTK has a gem? I'm
Yeah.
talking about on the side of LGD.
They have one on Naga Siren.
Okay, so they de-warded this right now. Smart move by LGD. Limit their map control. They need to make them feel threatened, even right outside their T3.
And this is the most important base defense. We talked about the wards not doing a single damn thing against Lone Druid. They're being completely ignored. The Gale comes off. They do everything they can to slow down this push. You gotta just nuke that bear. RTK threatening to drop off that wall, and he's looking. Shackle shot, not gonna latch. It is gonna do it against Naga Siren. Do you initiate on that? They don't. You see on the mini map, Burning is getting to that tier 1 tower, and that's gonna elicit a TP. There's one thing you know for sure about LGD is that they will always TP back for their tier 1 towers, and they bought themselves some time. Aegis is gonna be running out in a minute. And Burning, well, back to another fresh batch of creeps. He's gonna have Yasha finish. I think he should go back to the fountain and get his mana back, but I guess not.
I think that RTK just straight up just used a wall there, because if they lose a Rex, they're in a very compromising position. And again, LGD has been waiting quite a long time with their pushes. They're few and far between because they need to wait for all these opportune moments, whether Super gets picked off, whether all their lanes are not pushed out. The stars don't really align all the time for them to push it, and I think that he could have just blown that cooldown to save a lot of damage on a T3. With that T3 down at just 700 HP and the glyph still down for another almost 4 minutes, LGD China may make another push even without Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, they have Song back up very soon, or now. So they definitely, if they win a successful team fight, that could be it. Aegis is down in about a couple of seconds, and here it comes. Somebody was invisible. Oh, he blinked back.
Oh, they ping out Xiao 8.
It's time to get out, DK. You definitely can't take that fight.
Oh,
no,
he
Blink's
missed.
gonna miss, and RCK can't drop the wall. They do get the Shackle, but the Song of Sirens is gonna allow everybody to get in a better position. Calldown's gonna hit on everybody. The wall, the vacuum, that's gonna hit on a couple hero. MNY in big trouble. It's BKB Gyro doing tons of work. RTK as well. Burning running to the right. Burning blinks back out, and RTK, can he get entangled? Can he get rooted? Meanwhile, Burning trying to get some work done. He does get one kill. ROTK trying to help his ally picking up the gem. No, he doesn't have a slot, and everybody makes it home. Or will QQQ? No, he's not. As that bear is just gaining on him. Look at how quickly that bear moves. LSA is going to drop, and that's going to be it for QQQ.
And they didn't get a T1 out of that.
That's okay. Burning got creeps.
Burning, still finding decent amounts of farm. He is pretty close to his Manta style. Already Yasha in his inventory, 1,700 gold.
Does that Manta style mean anything in a team fight, though?
I mean, Gyrocopter is not that sacked now. He doesn't have his MKB. He only has his Demon Edge, and I think that it's decent because they usually have to lead in with the Nyx stuns, right? So they don't have that for initiate. Letrax stun usually followed up after the Nyx stun, and after that, he may be able to clean up and hit a big, maybe well-coordinated vacuum into Mana Void. That would be sick. Vacuum into Light Strike Array. Again, DK has this lineup that's a little bit harder to execute, at least in the team fights. LGD, they have much better, they have a lot of room for error, right? They have much more room to wiggle, whether it's just Song of Saturn to call down like we saw last time, just a blink initiate from Nyx Assassin, or just straight up Vendetta initiate into this chain stun. It's a lot easier for them to win these team fights.
I absolutely agree with that. They just have way more kind of easier to use spells. Meanwhile, DK is also playing with behind. They're almost down by 10,000 gold, a ton of experience as well, and Team H back on the tier 1. I do believe the Manta style is a very good item choice in terms of helping split push, because a lot of times you could drop your 2 illusions. They'll help you farm, they'll help you push, and he's right back on the tier 1.
What are they going to do right now, though? They don't have.
I mean, they're going to force a TP, right? They're saying, hey, LGD, I know that's only a tier 1, and LGD is a team that's known for defending tier 1s. Let's see if they're going to TP for that, or they're going to say, we're going to keep on pushing. But I think DK could at least hold long enough.
I don't know about that. They swiftly owned that tower last time. They're rushing up the hill right now. Again, those Plague Wars just absolutely nothing.
They force out mech usage so far. The tower is going to go down. Or will a Shackle shot? LSA, not exactly the best layer stun. Blink Impale. That's going to be onto G. MNY got to drop his ultimate. He doesn't. And that's going to be calling out everybody. RTK dies before dropping his ultimate. Or his nuke Burning gets netted. BKB and right click down. Suddenly, DK just melts, and are we going to see a quick 2-0 victory from LGD China? Nobody expects this. They destroyed the Nyx Assassin with a big Laguna Blade, but there's no buyback on the rest of the team. The rest of DK got to retreat TQQ low dropping an Urn on himself. They do lose the mid-racks. I'm not sure how much the mid-racks actually mean, because anti-mage could defend it against it, but that's yet another layer of pressure that DK have to deal against.
He does have his Manta style completed. I'm actually surprised that he TP'd right there. Again, Naga Siren net owns him at this point in the game, but needs to be a little bit more careful. They just gave it the free racks. There was no wall drop down. Again, I don't know why they didn't just drop it. If they delays like 30 seconds until he can actually pick up his Manta style, or just try and delay the wait until their glyphs up, either of those would be good. And they, again, DK needs to delay this game as long as possible using whatever tools they can. Super cannot get picked off again because they need power shot to anti-push. They need all their supports there so they can try and win some sort of team fights. They've just been getting rocked in every single one of these.
Yeah, I think Xiao was definitely kind of the big X factor in that team fight. That blink
Xiao 8 has been playing like a beast in this series so far.
And you got to keep in mind that he started with like a really one of the poorest kind of farm and laning situation, because he had to swap all day. That blink impel on the 2 support setting up the call down. I don't want to fall on ROTK too much, because it's hard for him to actually run in and get that wall vacuum combo, because the blink impale could easily stop him, the Song of Siren could easily stop him, and if they give away this Aegis, I think the second rack is going to be guaranteed, because LGD will just, they probably won't wait. Yeah, they'll just group up and go now. And Burning, he's going to have one more item on top of it. DK Burning is a player that likes to go BKB after this set of items, but BKB doesn't do anything in this situation. In fact, it sets you up for that sleep net and ownage combo that OG could do against you. So not sure what Burning will actually do. Uh-oh. Sleep going to be used on the mid lane here. I think he's going to be a setup. No, everybody runs out from the call down. RTK, drop your load. He doesn't. He's dead. He's got no buyback. Lina,
double stun by Xiao.
Oh my god, it is just too hard. Here comes Burning trying to set up something, but that Mana Void didn't do a single thing. Yao's very low, but he's got the Aegis himself, and MMY, he's going to go down to a single one more net.
I think this is it.
That's it. I really think that's it as well.
Oof. Xiao 8 has been finding, he set that whole thing up. I'm not sure if your camera was there. He set that whole thing up with an initiation on the winner. They lost the gem last time. They can't sentry ward everywhere, and that is, well, GG from Xiao 8. Oh wait, no, from ROTK. So that is GG, caught out from DK, and a much swifter series than I anticipated. First game was 35 minutes. This one's 30 minutes. I think this really has to do with the Syllabear pick too. We didn't really talk too much about him just because he was so prevalent, pretty 6.78, but if you get off to a good start like LGD did this game, then you just snowball your way to victory, because you can just annihilate towers that fast, end the game. Tank Roche too for the Aegis, and I really feel like he contributed a lot to this game. Siler dominated his lane, wherever he was, whether it was half top or half mid, and I think that Xiao 8 is the MVP, at least in my eyes. The fantastic back play in game 1, some really nice blink impales even when they had the gem, and he found a lot of kills with Vendetta, just always putting out pressure on DK. Although he didn't kill Burning, the other 4 heroes were almost completely useless.
Yeah, it's a game plan. You give away Burning AM, that's cool, but we're going to push. We're going to pick up Latrak. We're going to pick up Lone Druid. And that goes to beg the question, is DK drafting good enough to beat some of these very top teams? Because Venomancer 3rd, I'm not sure whether that... We saw a ton of Venomancer ward being dropped. They didn't do a single thing. Should have been a Keeper of Light. Should have been a lone Jakiro. Like, these heroes just defend better.
Yeah, that's true. One other thing that I'm concerned with DK is their playstyle, right? So if they don't have Alchemist or Anti-Mage, it seems like they might just get massacred, right?
They had Anti-Mages.
Even with Anti-Mage, they might get massacred. But what other playstyle can they do? I feel that if they just first ban Alchemist and Anti-Mage, and the other team bans out Batrider, or if they have a second pick, then it just DK's odds just go way down.
To be fair, I feel like they have a pretty good offensive trialing. We saw last game the Luna went offensive, got a couple kills. They eventually swapped back. They had things like Undying, Alchemist CM offensive try that also worked out pretty well. It just, like you said, the draft didn't line up so well for their side. The bans, the picks didn't work out well. So DK falls, they go to the loser bracket finals, or loser bracket, excuse me, and LGD will go to the winner bracket final, where they guarantee themselves at least $7,000 from the Alienware Cup. But let's send it back to the analyst table and see what they think.
Welcome back, guys. James, it was not what I expected anyway. I thought DK, you get the Burning Anti-Mage and you force a game 3, but just didn't come together for them.
Yeah, I think it's the first time I've ever seen just that amount of late old chasing. I don't know. Siler was just like constantly, and the amount of bottle exchanges on the way. it made the game extremely interesting from the get-go. But the main focus for me was on DK, because they had the work to put in. LGD, things were falling into place in terms of how they could push,
Right.
and it was DK that had to put in the work. Now, obviously on the drafting phase, I don't know who said it, but remove the Veno, get a Kotl. If you had a Keeper of the Light in that tri-lane, that would have been painful, because the amount of kind of pressure that the aggressive tri-lane would have had to do. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have even taken an aggressive stance, but if even they put the lone druid down there, that would have actually freed up burning in many ways. But it was the Veno didn't do much, and also the Darkseer played by ROTK dropped the wall, just put it the fuck down. Like, seriously,
yeah, I'm totally with you on that one.
Like, yeah, no, it was like, I mean, when I'm, and I'm no good, but I know if they want to get in my base and my carry isn't ready, and I just want to keep them the fuck away, I might as well just stick it the hell down, and then the bear.
Put it down.
Yeah, if the bear comes through, I'm fine with that. We hit the bear. But just everything else, just delay it. Just make it as hard as possible. Just buy every single second that Burning could farm was helpful. He was scaling so much better. He was, farming better, and yeah. But
there was a lot of stuff like that. Not just the wall. I mean, not to pin it all on RTK. That was definitely a big issue. But forcing that tier 1 top when they just had such a disadvantage in team fights. Nagasana the Siren is up. You shouldn't be doing that. You got to play more defensively. Getting picked off so many times by Shao8's Nyx. Yes, he played a spectacular Nyx assassin, but I just felt like there was a bit sloppy from them. Too many pickoffs, too many deaths, and not the best draft to defend, and it really hurt them in the end.
It's a kind of problematic feeling when you're playing 4+1 and you're pretty useless as a 4.
Yeah.
Because you kind of want to be like, we're doing stuff and we're pulling them places at least, so we're not just sat around. But sometimes it's better to just be super safe and actually sit around, because as we mentioned, Zhao8 played an amazing game, but also just that Naga. The way that they're using it now in terms of just making sure everything just is so safe. It's like you could, like, I think the fight top by tier 1 where they got beat down pretty bad at one point. I'm not sure if it's the fight you were talking about. The Blink Impel missed everybody.
Yeah, and
but
it
then
looked
the
good.
Naga Siren comes in. It's like,
it's your get out of jail free card.
Yeah, chill the fuck out. We got this. And then the Gyro ulti comes down. So LGD just picked up a very safe lineup, and DK had to really just make as much room as possible, but it was tough, and they didn't manage to do it. So 2-0.
Yeah, you talked about their 4-man thing not really doing anything, and I totally agree with you there. They need just like combo changing ultimates, like Song of the Siren. That's a totally team fight changing ultimate. They didn't have anything like that. They have Venomancer ultimate, whoop-de-doo, focus fire, absolutely nothing. Shackle shots are kind of big, but
Lina
really
was like their best ult, and that was not
good at all, right? And they had wall, but they never used it.
I don't understand why they didn't go for Jakiro. If they're not going to take Keep It Light, they had Darkseer. Vacuum into Ice Path is ridiculously strong.
Or just the Ice Path alone to keep throwing it out there as long range. Anything.
Magnus RP, Tidehunter Ravage, all those are just amazing at breaking combos, and they didn't really have that. I think they also could have utilized a Tinker, right? Tinker is one of the best defenders in the game. Sure, they could have used Coddle. They could just done Coddle and Tinker, right?
Yeah.
Tinker mid, Coddle, protect the anti-mage, and then Darkseer offlane. I think they would have just delayed the game long enough for Burning to just like ramp up his farm. So I think they have options available to them. We can't just say their draft sucks and not provide options. But I think they could have been a lot better. Jakiro would have worked well. Sand even, we saw Darkseer Burrow Strike into Vacuum, and then like an Epicenter follow-up. That's a team fight changing ultimate, right? So I think that DK's draft is a little bit. I'm going to dock them points on the Hexagon if I had access to it, or I'll Coddle Gods or whatever to dock them.
DK's not out yet.
They're not out yet.
They're in the loser bracket. If I could speak for Gods, he thinks DK is a team that's going to win TI3, so he has high hope for the team. And for their sake, let's see if they're going to do well in this quote-unquote mini TI, if you could call it that. As we
I think that's fair to call it that.
Yeah, it's a very quality team, quality tournament, and we'll see how far they could climb back up.
Yeah, I totally agree. And just one last thing, Merlini, I'm really glad you mentioned the Tinker, because that's one of Super's signature heroes. Used to play it a lot. I'm happy, Merlini. Thank you. It meant a lot to me. But I like seeing Tinker. I know it's one of your favorite heroes.
Yeah.
And we've seen teams like Zenith A lot of these Southeast Asian teams, they get Tinker and then they just stall the game for ages. But
All right, Song of Siren. You just if you want to walk in, sure, you'll get owned by Mars, right?
suck on these machines.
That thing owns.
Yo. Well, in the end, they don't take the series. They drop down to the losers bracket.
Sorry, just when you said "suck on these machines," I was like, "That's a really good name for a porno." But you know, of course, everything I say has no affiliation with Alienware Cup. As DPM didn't hear what I said, but she's looking over now, very wide-eyed. Hey, DPM, how's it going? Does the M in your name stand for machine?
Leave her alone, James.
So yeah, this is the Alienware Cup, and we got another match coming up today. That of course, the best of 3 finished in 2.
This was only the warm-up. This is like the appetizer for the main course.
And we can bring up the brackets and show you what's coming up next, because I'll be disappearing, and we're going to be bringing Bruno back in. And I think LD will be doing some commentary. But where we're going next, after we go to a break, is going to be IG versus Na'Vi in a best of 3. And that'll be the last game today. And the winner of this will move into the upper bracket grand finals and guarantee at least a top 3 finish. And a lot of money here in this tournament, $60,000. So I want a piece of that. That would be great. But of course, you know, even though TI is around the corner, like 2.4, $60,000 tournament is a big amount of prize money. And it's also interesting that MasterCard have also got involved with Alienware here, which is really good. Any company that makes money out of directly dealing with money is I'm a fan of. So we'll support them as much as possible in esports, and we'll see where that goes. And hopefully they return for a season 2. And if you guys want to make sure, or at least ensure they know you like what they've done and you want them back for season 2, you can head over to Facebook, also on Twitter. It's Alienware Cup is the name of the tournament. You'll find them both there, or any kind of all the stuff you've been doing on Reddit threads. You've been great thus far. So LD, let's talk about the next match though.
Yep.
IG versus Na'Vi.
Na'Vi versus IG, gonna be
IG versus Na'Vi.
IG versus Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Okay.
IG have to take on Na'Vi. Or is it Na'Vi taking on IG?
Aren't IG they're the defending world champions?
Yeah, okay.
Isn't it Na'Vi taking on IG?
Yeah.
Well, either way, Kawa says it's Na'Vi versus IG. He's put them on the left, and this is English, so we read left to right.
Okay.
Kawa's taking over. He's making big decisions now all by himself.
He's wearing his Team Dignitas top as well, man. Sporting them. So yeah, they're actually Alienware sponsored as well. Look at that. You all fit in over there, Kawa. Look at you repping. Yeah, so what do you make of the matchup? And we'll ask Lumi and Merlini as well before we go to break.
We haven't seen that much of IG in this tournament because they finished first in their group.
They just win everything. So you get to see them the lead.
It's this 10-team double elimination format. So you win your group and you are seeded directly into the semifinals. So it's been a few days since we've seen them. They fell flat. They fell short in the Dota 2 Super League. Haven't won a big tournament in now a decent amount of time. They fell short at G1 League, looked pretty awful there in the group stages. Dota 2 Super League, as I mentioned, didn't deliver there. So it's going to be a great match.
But it's hard to predict how it's going to be great
exactly.
because it's Na'Vi IG and no one really knows what's going to happen.
I feel like both teams are going to rise to the occasion, though, because they have to remember those on stage last year, the rivalry between these teams.
Yeah.
I think they'll step it up.
I wonder if Dendi will shout and tell his team everyone's going for ice cream after that team fight.
We're not going to have camera shots or Chuan just getting up and roaring.
We're no somehow. Merlini, Lumi, before we go to a break, anything you want to say about the upcoming match? I'm sure we're going to preview it as well when we come back, but Na'Vi versus IG.
I was at Vegas. I didn't know how they did in the group stage. I know the final score was 6-2.
I saw Na'Vi get owned 7 times.
No. IG.
Oh, IG?
Yeah.
IG was 6-2.
6-2.
They dropped 1 match versus Orange and 1 versus Tongfu.
Right. Was those 6 wins?
It was shaky, in my opinion.
Shaky wins, okay.
And I think at their best, IG would beat Na'Vi. I would put my money and my rares on them. But right now, I think it's a coin flip, and I slightly favor Na'Vi just because they've been on a bit of a hot streak recently.
And they have better odds.
Na'Vi does
My
not have better
rares!
odds. Na'Vi does not have better odds than IG.
According to Dota 2 last
Oh, it was?
year. Yeah.
Regardless, I think that it's pretty much a coin flip. Na'Vi, they started off really weak with 1-7, but they played much stronger these past couple of days. As they've seemed like they've adjusted to whatever situation they're in Shanghai or whatever, and they've gotten their game together. They're playing strong. Havost is on a carry instead of support. I think that's a really big deal to them actually being able to take down games.
He's a 9 carry. That's what Bruno keeps saying.
And IG, I haven't seen too much of them just because they were like they came out on top of the group stage, so I haven't seen them in the upper bracket finals yet. But they did seem a little bit shaky in the games. I think they actually got like just straight up stomped one game. Not that Navi didn't plenty of times, but still the IG seems slightly out of form. But again, just coin flip. I predict a 2-1 series, a very close series, even though the games may or may not be that close.
I'm going to quote history. We had the 2-0 victory of IG in the group stages of Alienware Cup. We had a 3-1 victory in the grand finals of TI. So
What do you think?
You're
it's
ignoring.
in their blood. It's in their blood, right? Like IG is the superheroes, and this Navi is this scummy team that's coming from the
Scummy team?
Scummy team. No, Navi's definitely one of my favorite teams, but I gotta root for IG here. Definitely a toss-up. I don't think IG is at their best. Neither is Navi.
Scum versus superheroes.
There you go.
Quote
You heard
Lumi
it.
on this.
You heard it from Lumi.
Will it be a role reversal? Maybe IG knocks Navi down to the losers bracket, and then Navi are the ones who have to fight their
But
way
how
through.
awesome would it be for Dota, for especially Eastern Dota, if Navi goes all the way and say win the Alienware Cups? First, you have Alliance coming and showing what West can do, because that's the first tournament that nobody expected anybody from the West to do.
Format
well.
sucked.
Yeah, and then now you have a very deep tournament, Navi, and I just, in case nobody knew, I was joking about the scummy thing. They could come
I
and
don't,
win
I
the
don't
whole
think
thing.
you are, Lumi. I'm gonna
I'm a
burn
big-
you.
I'm
Kill
a-
you to the stake on that.
All right,
We're
all right.
gonna hold you to that now.
But
and just
Navi
make
could
you feel
definitely
real
go
bad.
make a deep run and just say, hey guys, TI2 whatever, like the West is the best now. So I think the Chinese,
I like that.
yeah.
West
So-
is the best.
But I'm still gonna go with 2-1 IG.
1-7 group stage.
They rise to the occasion. Navi definitely does. Group
right.
stage don't matter.
All right, guys. I'm gonna stop you here before
Okay.
you start fighting over what's gonna happen
Scum.
and getting people in more trouble. But all we do know is we have no idea what's gonna happen in the match. But it's gonna be amazing, and you guys are gonna have to stay with us to find out what will happen in the next game, which is gonna be IG versus Navi. We're gonna go to break, but when we come back, it's that game, it's that best of 3, and the winner is going to the upper bracket finals. This is the Alienware Cup at the BTS studio, organized by DTM, sponsored by MasterCard and Alienware, obviously. See you after the break.
Suck on those.